Today, I am speaking from the home of champions, Wasingishu County, and I'm in Eldoret. I came here for a conference on African studies. So we've just finished our sessions. So that's why you're seeing my room looking like this with the TV up here. So I'm going to start with reading, as I always have been doing, to read a passage. This time I'm reading from Luke 14. I'll start from verse 16 to 24, and this is the parable of the great banquet. Okay. So Jesus is telling this parable to his disciples. So I'll begin verse 16. A man once gave a great banquet and invited many. And at the time for the banquet, he sent his servant to say to those who had been invited, "Come, for everything is now ready." But they all alike began to make excuses. The first said to him, "I have bought a field and I must go out and see it. Please have me excused." And another said, "I have bought 5 yoke of oxen and I go to examine them. Please have me excused." And another said, "I have married a wife and therefore I cannot come." So the servant came and reported all these things to his master. Then the master of the house became angry and said to his servant, "Go out quickly to the streets and the lanes of the city and bring in the poor and the crippled and blind and lame." And the servant said, "Sir, what you have commanded has been done, and there is still room." And the master said to the servant, "Go out to the highways and the hedges and compel people to come in, that my house may be filled. For I tell you, none of those men who were invited shall taste my banquet." All right, this passage is repeated in Matthew with a few more interesting details. One of the details is that the invitees had been informed in advance that there would be a party. Now, when the man was ready to give the party, his friends didn't come. And at the end of that passage, the master gets so angry, he even blasts somebody for not dressing properly, like he was going for a wedding. So that one has more details, and the master seems a bit more cruel than in this passage. But the reason I'm giving this passage is because if you see the excuses that the friends of the master gave, they were genuine. Somebody bought land, that's a genuine reason for not coming. Somebody got married, what more can be a reason? Somebody buys a cow, that's a big deal, it's a big investment. So the excuses for not coming were very genuine. And for me, when I'm reading this at this time, I'm thinking it's not so much that they didn't come, but that they made their decisions, they made their choices. When they looked at my wife, my cow, and coming for this banquet, that's not a priority. And I guess that's actually what annoyed the master. So whether he was justified to be annoyed or not, that one I'm not going to judge. But the reason I remembered this story was because at this level, when you're adults and things are happening in your lives, you're getting married, you have new family members, you probably have funerals, maybe some of you have to pay hospital fees for extended family. There are so many commitments that you have that if you've chosen to be a graduate student, unfortunately, you'll have to juggle them. You have to juggle them and make a decision. So when you come to tell me that this has happened, you won't be able to make it, it's up to you to make the choice. You weigh what is important to you. Weigh what is important to you. Juggle, is doing this as important as me being there for my family? You make the decision. You have to take responsibility for the decisions you make. I think there's a lesson here for you going forward in your graduate studies. You have to start taking some responsibility, especially if you're paying for yourself. You've committed. So take some responsibility, decide what's important to you. If something comes up you make a decision. Make a decision and live with the consequences. That's what life is about. If you decide you'd rather see your cow instead of going to the banquet, make that decision. If you'd rather get married than go to the banquet your friend had said he was preparing, make it and live with it. If your friend says, I'll never talk to you again, and your friend gets angry, you just say, look, I had a hard choice. This is the choice I made. But you can't call your friend and say, now I'm getting married, and then you have given me your banquet. So should I come for your whatever, or should I get married? That's not fair to your friend. It's not fair. Make the decision, carry through with it, live with it. But you see, you can only make these decisions if you have knowledge. And that's why, for me, this teaching, I am one of those people who doesn't care for papers. Like, I really don't care. I was even going to use bad words, but I'm in front of you. I really don't care. I don't care for papers. I don't care for graduation. I don't care for all those things. I care that people know. People know stuff. They know how to find what they need to know, and that they are proud of what they know. That's all I'm about. That's all I'm about. And in fact, if I can go back to verse 12, he said also to the man who had invited him, when you give a dinner or a banquet, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or rich neighbors, lest they invite you in return and you be repaid. But when you give a feast, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed because they cannot repay you, for you will be repaid at the resurrection of the just. Basically, I've had people calling that pay it forward, paying it forward. Me, I pay forward. I pay forward. I want you to learn. I want you to know things so that when you have to make decisions, you make correct and considered decisions, because you can't avoid making decisions. So I'm not doing this for payment. I'm not doing it so that you can do well. I'm not doing it so that I can be paid. I'm not, those things, yes, that's happening, but that's not why I am doing it. I'm doing it so that you can pay it forward, because this is my platform. This is what God has given me. This is how God has given me to influence the world. And so I'm just trying to teach you how to love knowledge, to pursue it, and to be confident in using knowledge to make decisions. So that's what you have to do. It's not really complicated. And I told you when I was talking about Naaman, it's not complicated. No need to complicate it. What you need to do, what I want you to do, is to pay this forward. Please, pay it forward. I mean, I see how many poor Kenyans suffer. They suffer from bad decisions. And I'm like, God, none of my students must be that decision maker. That's why I am here. I want you to learn to use knowledge, to be confident in using that knowledge so that you make good decisions wherever you are. Make your decisions and live with those decisions. Because actually, when you decide to live with it, you learn more that way. You make a decision and you say, you know, let's see how it goes. And I think what makes people that way is knowledge, not papers, knowledge. So I want you to pursue knowledge and to make decisions for yourselves about what's important to you.